Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another relaxing episode. I'm so happy you're spending a little part of your day with us. Today, we're talking about something that millions of people enjoy every single day, coffee. But this isn't just about caffeine or fancy coffee shops. It's about memories, routines, conversations, and the little moments that make life feel a bit warmer. And to explore this topic with me, I've invited someone who never says no to a good cup of coffee. Welcome, David.
Thanks, Janie. That's probably the nicest introduction I've ever received. And yes, you're absolutely right. If someone offers me coffee, it's almost impossible for me to say no.
I knew it. Before we started recording, I noticed you were already holding a mug.
Guilty as charged. It's sitting right here beside me. Actually, I feel a little strange if I record a podcast without coffee nearby.
That's funny because I'm exactly the opposite. Sometimes I make a cup of coffee just for the smell. Then I get busy talking to someone, and by the time I remember it, the coffee is already cold.
Oh, I've done that too. And then comes the big question. Should I drink this cold coffee or make another one?
And somehow, making another one always feels like the better choice.
Absolutely. It's almost like making coffee is part of the experience. It's not only about drinking it.
That's something I've always found interesting. Coffee isn't just a drink anymore. For many people, it's part of their daily rhythm. Some people can't imagine starting their morning without it.
I think routines are comforting. Life is unpredictable. Some days are wonderful and some are stressful. But having a small routine, like making coffee every morning, can make everything feel a little more stable.
I completely agree. It reminds me of my grandfather. Every morning, he woke up before everyone else in the house. He would quietly make coffee, sit near the window, and simply watch the sunrise. He didn't check his phone, he didn't turn on the TV. He just enjoyed that peaceful moment. That sounds beautiful. We don't have enough quiet moments these days, do we? Not really. It feels like every minute of our lives has to be filled with something. Messages, notifications, videos, emails. Sometimes silence almost feels unusual. I think that's one reason coffee shops have become so popular. Of course, people go there for coffee, but many also go there to slow down for a while. That's true. Whenever I walk into a coffee shop, I notice different kinds of people. Some are working on laptops, some are reading books, some are having their first date. Others are just sitting quietly, looking out the window. And then there are people like me, pretending to work while secretly watching everyone else. You're people watching. Exactly. I find it fascinating. You start imagining people's stories. Maybe that student is preparing for an important exam. Maybe that businessman is about to sign a huge deal. Maybe that elderly couple has been married for 50 years and still enjoys having coffee together every Saturday morning. I love that. It's like every table has its own little story. Sometimes I even wonder how many friendships started over coffee, or relationships, or business ideas, or difficult conversations. That's a good point. Coffee seems to appear in both happy moments and serious moments. Think about it. How many times have you heard someone say, "Let's grab a coffee"? All the time. And they don't always mean they're thirsty. Exactly. Sometimes "let's grab a coffee" actually means "let's talk," or "I miss you," or "I have something important to tell you."
That's such a simple sentence, but it can mean so many different things.
It's interesting because nobody says, let's drink a glass of water together.
That's true. Coffee somehow became the universal invitation.
I remember my very first job interview after college. The manager didn't invite me into a meeting room. Instead, he suggested we talk at a small cafe nearby.
Really? That must have made you feel more relaxed.
It did. At first, I thought it was unprofessional. But after a few minutes, I realized he wanted to see the real me, not just a version that memorized interview answers.
That's actually very smart.
We talked about work, of course, but we also talked about books, movies, traveling, and even our favorite breakfast foods.
Let me guess, coffee came before breakfast.
Of course. He even asked me, "How do you take your coffee?" At first, I thought it was just a casual question. Later, I realized he enjoyed learning about people's personalities through small conversations.
That's one thing I love about conversations. Sometimes the smallest questions reveal the biggest things about someone.
Definitely. If someone asks me about coffee, I usually end up talking for 10 minutes.
Then let's ask the obvious question. What kind of coffee do you actually like?
It changes depending on the season. During colder months, I enjoy a hot latte because it feels comforting. But during summer, I almost always order an iced Americano.
That's interesting. I'm much less adventurous. I usually order the same drink every single time.
Really? You never feel like trying something new?
I do, but then I look at the menu with 20 different choices, panic a little, and order my usual favorite.
I think many people can relate to that.
Coffee menus have become surprisingly complicated.
They really have. Years ago, you mostly had coffee or tea. Now you have espresso, latte, cappuccino, flat white, mocha, cold brew, pour over, macchiato, and that's before adding different syrups or milk options.
Sometimes I feel like I need a dictionary before ordering.
Or a translator.
Exactly.
But here's the funny thing. No matter how complicated the menu becomes, people usually find their favorite drink and stick with it.
Just like people have favorite songs or favorite movies.
Yes, it's familiar. It brings comfort.
Do you remember your very first cup of coffee?
Oh, I definitely do.
Really? Tell me the story.
I was around 13 years old. My parents were drinking coffee at breakfast, and I kept asking if I could try it. My dad smiled, poured a tiny amount into my cup, and said, "Go ahead."
Let me guess. You hated it.
Absolutely. I thought it was the most bitter thing I'd ever tasted. I couldn't understand why adults enjoyed it.
That's exactly what happened to me.
Isn't it funny? As kids, we usually love sweet things. Then one day, without realizing it, we start appreciating bitter flavors too.
Maybe growing up changes our taste.
Or maybe life teaches us that not everything wonderful has to be sweet.
I like that. That's a beautiful way to describe coffee.
You know what's even more interesting?
What?
The older I get, the less I think coffee is about the drink itself. It's more about the moment. It's about slowing down, taking a deep breath, talking with someone you care about, or even enjoying your own company for a few peaceful minutes.
I couldn't agree more. Sometimes the best conversations don't happen at big parties or expensive restaurants. They happen across a small table with 2 warm cups of coffee.
And somehow, those are the conversations we remember for years.
I think that's the perfect place to pause for now. We've talked about coffee as more than just a drink. It can be a routine, a memory, a comfort, and even the beginning of meaningful conversations. But after the break, I'd love to dive deeper into why coffee seems to connect people from so many different cultures, and how a simple cup can carry so many personal stories. Stay with us. You know, that reminds me of something that happened a few months ago. I met an old friend at a small neighborhood cafe. We hadn't seen each other in almost 6 years. We had planned to meet for just 30 minutes because we were both busy. Do you know how long we actually stayed there?
Let me guess, 3 hours?
3.5.
That's exactly what coffee does. Time starts playing tricks on you.
It really does. At one point, we looked outside and realized it was already getting dark. We kept saying, just one more story, and somehow another story always appeared.
That's one of my favorite things about good conversations. They don't have to be planned. One memory leads to another, then another, and before you know it, you've traveled through years of your life together.
Exactly. We started by talking about work, then somehow ended up laughing about embarrassing moments from high school.
Those are always the funniest stories.
Those are always the funniest stories.
Oh, absolutely. We remember teachers, school trips, old classmates, and even silly arguments that felt like the end of the world back then.
Most of them do.
I think coffee has this strange ability to make people feel safe. Maybe that's why people open up so easily while holding a warm cup.
That's an interesting thought. There must be something comforting about wrapping your hands around a warm mug while talking.
It's almost like your body relaxes first and then your mind follows.
I like that idea.
Sometimes people ask me why I prefer meeting someone at a cafe instead of a noisy restaurant. My answer is always the same.
Which is?
Because conversations deserve space.
Wow.
At a busy restaurant, everyone is thinking about the food, ordering more dishes, or waiting for the bill. But in a cafe, nobody expects you to leave quickly. You can simply sit there and talk.
That's true. Some of my deepest conversations happened over coffee.
Mine too.
Have you ever gone to a coffee shop completely alone?
Many times.
Some people feel uncomfortable doing that.
They do, but I think it's something everyone should try at least once.
Really?
Definitely. At first, it feels awkward. You look around and wonder if everyone is looking at you.
Even though they're probably not.
Exactly. Everyone is busy living their own life. Nobody is paying as much attention to us as we imagine.
That's actually a very comforting thought.
It is. Once you realize that, you become much more relaxed.
What do you usually do when you're alone at a coffee shop?
It depends on my mood. Sometimes I bring a book, sometimes I write ideas in a notebook, other times I simply sit there and watch the world move.
That sounds peaceful.
It really is.
I think people have forgotten how to be alone without feeling lonely.
That's a big difference, isn't it?
A huge difference.
Being alone can actually be refreshing. It's a chance to listen to your own thoughts instead of everyone else's opinions.
Especially nowadays when we're constantly connected through our phones.
Exactly. We wake up and check notifications, we eat while scrolling, we stand in line while watching videos. Every empty moment gets filled immediately.
I catch myself doing that all the time.
Me too.
Sometimes I'll unlock my phone without even knowing why.
I've done that. Then I stare at the screen wondering, what was I planning to do?
It's almost automatic.
Which is why I sometimes leave my phone in my bag when I'm at a cafe.
Really? Doesn't that make you nervous?
It used to. Now it feels freeing.
I should probably try that.
Start with 15 minutes.
Only 15?
That's enough. Drink your coffee slowly, look around, listen to the sounds.
The sound of the coffee machine.
The cups touching the table.
Quiet conversations.
Someone laughing in the corner.
Soft music playing in the background.
Those little details remind us that life isn't always rushing. Sometimes it's simply happening around us.
I think that's one reason people say coffee tastes better when you're not in a hurry.
I agree.
Have you ever noticed that the same coffee can taste completely different depending on your mood?
Oh, absolutely.
Isn't that strange?
Not really. Our emotions influence almost everything we experience.
That's true.
Think about it. If you're stressed, you drink quickly because your mind is somewhere else.
You're not really tasting it.
Exactly. But when you're relaxed, you notice the aroma, the warmth, even the first sip feels different.
Exactly. But when you're relaxed, you notice the aroma, the warmth, even the first sip feels different.
That's a great word.
Coffee becomes a small reminder to slow down.
And slowing down doesn't mean you're falling behind.
I think many people need to hear that.
We live in a world where everyone seems busy all the time. If someone asks, "How are you?" the most common answer is, "Busy."
That's so true.
Almost like being busy has become something to be proud of.
Sometimes I wonder if we're actually productive or just constantly occupied.
Those are two very different things.
Very different.
Productivity means doing what truly matters. Being busy can simply mean filling every minute with activity.
I once heard someone say, don't confuse movement with progress.
I love that.
It stayed with me because it's so easy to mistake one for the other.
That's why I enjoy slow mornings whenever I can.
What does a slow morning look like for you?
I wake up without immediately checking my phone. I open the window, let fresh air in, make coffee, and just sit for a few minutes.
No music?
Sometimes no music at all.
Just silence?
Just silence.
I don't think enough people appreciate silence anymore.
Silence isn't empty.
That's beautiful.
It's full of thoughts we've been too busy to hear.
Thoughtfully, I might write that down later.
Go ahead.
You know, I used to think successful people were always moving, always working, always answering emails.
And now?
Now I think successful people also know when to stop.
I couldn't agree more.
Because if we never pause, we don't have time to notice what's actually making us happy.
Exactly. Happiness often whispers. It rarely shouts.
Exactly. Happiness often whispers. It rarely shouts.
Coffee has taught me that, strangely enough.
How so?
Because the best cups I've ever had weren't necessarily the most expensive ones. They were the ones I shared with the right people at the right moment.
And love that.
I've had incredible coffee that I barely remember, and I've had very ordinary coffee that I'll never forget because of the conversation that came with it.
So maybe it's never been about finding the perfect coffee.
Maybe it's about finding the perfect moment to enjoy whatever coffee is already in front of you.
That reminds me of something I heard a barista say once. He told me, people think I spend my day making coffee, but most of the time I'm actually serving conversations.
I love that. And honestly, he's probably right.
At first, I didn't really understand what he meant. Then I started paying more attention whenever I visited coffee shops.
And what did you notice?
I noticed that every customer walked in carrying something invisible.
Invisible?
Yes, some carried excitement, some carried stress, some carried hope, others carried disappointment. You couldn't see it, but somehow you could almost feel it.
That's a beautiful observation.
The funny thing is, nobody announces those feelings.
Right. Nobody walks into a cafe and says, "One cappuccino, please, and by the way, I'm having a terrible week."
Exactly.
But sometimes you can tell,
Just by the way they move.
or by how quietly they sit.
Or how long they stare into their coffee before taking the first sip.
I think everyone has done that at least once.
I know I have.
Me too.
Have you ever had a day where everything felt overwhelming and somehow sitting in a cafe made it feel a little lighter?
More than once.
Really?
Absolutely. I remember one afternoon after a difficult week at work. Nothing terrible had happened, but everything seemed to go wrong at the same time.
Those weeks are exhausting.
They really are. I was mentally tired, emotionally tired, and honestly, I didn't even feel like talking to anyone.
So why did you go to a coffee shop?
I didn't even plan to. I was walking home when it suddenly started raining.
Ah,
I stepped into the nearest cafe just to stay dry.
sometimes the best moments are unplanned.
Exactly. I ordered a simple black coffee, found a seat near the window, and watched people rushing through the rain.
There's something calming about watching rain from inside a warm cafe.
There really is.
What happened next?
Nothing extraordinary.
Really?
That's the interesting part. Nothing magical happened. Nobody came over to give me life-changing advice. There wasn't some dramatic movie moment.
Life usually isn't like the movies.
Exactly. I simply sat there for about an hour.
Just sitting?
Just sitting.
No phone?
It stayed in my pocket almost the whole time.
That's impressive.
I listened to the rain. I watched people come and go. I slowly finished my coffee.
And,
When I finally stood up to leave, my problems hadn't disappeared,
but
but they no longer felt impossible.
that's an important difference.
Sometimes we don't need solutions immediately.
We just need space to breathe.
Exactly.
You know what? I think we underestimate the power of small pauses.
I agree.
Everyone talks about taking long vacations.
Which are wonderful, by the way,
Of course.
but not everyone has the time or money for that.
Exactly.
Sometimes a 40-minute coffee break can reset your mind more than you expect,
That's so true.
especially if you allow yourself to be fully present.
That's the difficult part.
It is.
Being physically somewhere is easy.
Being mentally there is much harder.
I catch myself thinking about tomorrow while I'm still living today,
I think most of us do.
or replaying conversations from yesterday.
Or worrying about things that might never happen.
Our minds travel more than we do.
That's a great way to put it.
Meanwhile, our coffee gets cold.
Exactly.
Maybe coffee is constantly trying to teach us one lesson.
Which lesson?
Be here.
That's beautifully simple.
Because coffee doesn't exist in yesterday,
Or tomorrow.
only now.
That's surprisingly deep for a conversation about coffee.
I didn't expect today's episode to become this philosophical either.
Neither did I.
Speaking of coffee, do you remember the first time you ever made coffee for someone else?
Oh, that's actually a funny story.
I knew it.
I was in college.
Okay.
My older brother came to visit my apartment.
Were you trying to impress him?
Definitely. I confidently said, "Sit down, I'll make us some coffee."
Confident already.
Very confident.
Let me guess, something went wrong.
Everything went wrong. I accidentally added salt instead of sugar.
No!
Yes.
How does that even happen?
The containers looked exactly the same.
That's unfortunate.
I took one sip.
And
I immediately knew something was terribly wrong.
did your brother notice?
Oh, he noticed.
What did he say?
He looked at me with a completely serious face and said, "David, this coffee has personality."
That's such a polite way of saying it tasted terrible.
He was trying so hard not to laugh.
Did you make another cup?
Of course.
And was it better?
Much better.
Good.
But my brother still reminds me of the salty coffee incident every family gathering.
Families never forget those stories.
Never.
My family is exactly the same.
Really?
Every holiday, someone brings up an embarrassing story from 20 years ago.
It's like they have a secret archive.
Exactly.
I guess those memories become part of what makes a family feel like a family.
That's true.
Perfect moments are nice, but imperfect moments are usually the ones we laugh about forever.
I couldn't agree more.
You know, it's funny how those imperfect moments often become our favorite stories. Nobody gathers around a table saying, "Remember that perfectly normal Tuesday?" We remember the days when something unexpected happened.
That's so true. The little mistakes somehow become family legends. Exactly. And every time the story's told, it gets just a little more dramatic.
Oh, definitely. My family has a talent for exaggerating.
Mine too. By now, the salty coffee I made has probably turned into the saltiest coffee in human history.
That's how family stories survive.
They become bigger every year.
Speaking of stories, have you ever met someone because of coffee who later became an important part of your life?
Actually, yes.
Really?
It wasn't some romantic movie scene or anything like that.
Those are usually better anyway.
I think so too. It happened when I had just started a new job.
Starting a new job can be stressful.
Very stressful. I didn't know anyone, and I was the quiet new guy trying not to make mistakes.
I think everyone has been that person at least once.
On my third day, I walked into the office kitchen to make a cup of coffee.
A classic beginning.
There was another guy standing there, staring at the coffee machine.
Let me guess. He didn't know how to use it.
Exactly. We looked at each other for a few seconds, and finally he said, "Do you know how this thing works?"
Please tell me you knew.
Not at all.
I had absolutely no idea, but I didn't want to admit it. So what did you do?
I walked over, pressed a random button,
Oh no,
and the machine started making a loud grinding noise.
that doesn't sound promising.
Then it suddenly stopped.
Silence?
Complete silence.
That's even worse.
We just stood there looking at the machine like it had personally betrayed us. A few seconds later, another coworker walked in, looked at us, smiled, and said, "You know, you have to turn it on first."
No way.
We had forgotten the most obvious step.
That's hilarious.
The three of us ended up laughing together.
And that was how you became friends?
Pretty much.
Amazing.
We started having coffee together almost every morning after that.
It's incredible how friendships sometimes begin with something so simple.
They usually do.
Not with big speeches.
Not with perfect first impressions.
Just small moments.
Small moments repeated over time.
I like that.
Looking back, I don't remember every project we worked on.
But you remember those coffee breaks.
Every single one.
Why do you think that is?
Because work filled our schedules.
And coffee filled the space between them.
Exactly.
That's a beautiful way to describe it.
We talked about everything.
Like what?
Sports, movies,
Of course.
family,
Makes sense.
weekend plans,
Naturally.
dreams we hadn't accomplished yet.
That's my favorite kind of conversation.
Mine too.
I love asking people about their dreams.
Really?
Yes, their eyes usually change.
That's true.
Even if they're tired, the moment they start talking about something they truly care about, they suddenly become more alive.
Passion has that effect.
It does.
And sometimes all people need is someone who's willing to listen.
Listening is becoming a rare skill these days.
Unfortunately.
Everyone wants to speak.
But fewer people want to listen.
I once read that most people don't actually listen to understand.
They listen to reply.
Exactly.
That's something I've been trying to improve.
Me too.
It's harder than it sounds.
Because while someone is talking,
Our brain is already preparing the next answer.
instead of truly hearing them,
Exactly.
I think coffee helps with that too.
How?
When two people sit down with no rush, they naturally become better listeners.
That's true.
Nobody is trying to finish first.
Nobody is racing the clock.
The conversation has room to breathe.
That's probably why some of the wisest advice I've ever received came over coffee.
Really?
My grandfather used to invite me for coffee every few weeks.
I love grandparent stories.
He wasn't the kind of person who gave long lectures.
What did he do instead?
He asked simple questions.
Such as?
Are you happy?
That's a powerful question.
It sounds simple, but it's surprisingly difficult to answer honestly.
Very true.
Another question he often asked was, what are you grateful for this week?
I like that even more.
At first, I would give quick answers.
Like?
My job, my health,
Right?
but he'd smile and say, think a little longer.
I already like your grandfather.
Me too.
So what happened?
Eventually, I started noticing smaller things.
Such as?
A phone call from an old friend,
Nice.
a beautiful sunset after work, my mom laughing at one of my terrible jokes, finding a great book at a secondhand bookstore.
Those little moments really do matter.
They do.
We spend so much time chasing big achievements that we sometimes forget to appreciate ordinary days.
And ordinary days make up most of our lives.
That's such an important reminder.
If we only allow ourselves to be happy during huge milestones, we'll miss thousands of beautiful little moments along the way.
I couldn't agree more.
Sometimes happiness is simply sitting across from someone you enjoy talking to.
With 2 warm cups of coffee between you.
Exactly.
You know, after talking about coffee for this long, I don't think it's really about coffee anymore.
Exactly.
It's funny how one simple drink can lead us into conversations about family, friendship, slowing down, gratitude, and even happiness.
Maybe that's why coffee has been part of people's lives for hundreds of years.
I think so too.
Every culture has its own way of preparing coffee.
And every family seems to have its own coffee traditions.
Exactly.
In my family, weekend mornings always felt a little different.
How so?
Nobody was rushing anywhere. My parents would make breakfast, someone would put on soft music, and eventually the smell of fresh coffee would fill the house.
That sounds incredibly cozy.
It really was. Looking back, I don't remember what we talked about every weekend.
But you remember how it felt.
Exactly.
That's something I've realized as I've gotten older.
What's that?
Our memories are often built from feelings more than facts.
I completely agree.
I don't remember every conversation I've ever had with my parents,
Neither do I.
but I remember feeling safe.
That's beautiful.
I remember laughing until my stomach hurt.
Me too.
I remember sitting around the table long after everyone had finished eating because nobody wanted the conversation to end.
Those are the moments that stay with us.
They really are.
Do you think younger people today are missing some of those moments because we're all so connected to our screens?
Sometimes yes.
That's an honest answer.
Technology is amazing.
Absolutely.
It helps us stay connected with people around the world.
We're proof of that.
Exactly.
But
sometimes we forget to connect with the person sitting right in front of us,
I think we've all been guilty of that.
including me.
Me too.
Have you ever been sitting with friends and noticed everyone checking their phones at the same time?
More times than I'd like to admit.
It's such a strange moment.
The conversation suddenly disappears.
The conversation suddenly disappears,
Everyone is somewhere else.
even though they're physically together.
That's why I appreciate places where people naturally slow down.
Coffee shops are definitely one of those places.
I once visited a tiny cafe while traveling.
Oh?
It wasn't famous.
Sometimes those are the best ones.
It only had a few wooden tables, shelves full of books, and plants by the windows.
I can already picture it.
The owner greeted every customer by name.
That's rare these days.
It felt less like a business.
And more like someone's living room.
Exactly.
Did you stay long?
Almost the entire afternoon.
Doing what?
Honestly, not much. I drank my coffee slowly, read a few chapters of a novel,
Sounds relaxing.
looked out the window,
Nice.
smiled at a dog that walked past.
Dogs somehow make every day better.
I agree.
Did anything exciting happen?
Not really.
And yet you still remember it.
That's exactly the point.
Sometimes ordinary moments become unforgettable simply because we were fully present.
I wish more people realized that.
Me too.
We spend so much time waiting for the perfect day,
The perfect vacation,
the perfect job,
the perfect opportunity.
the perfect version of ourselves.
Meanwhile,
Life keeps happening
right now,
in small moments,
during ordinary mornings,
over simple conversations,
and sometimes
over a cup of coffee.
thoughtfully. If someone listening to us today decides to do one small thing after this episode, I hope it's this.
I'm listening.
Call someone you haven't spoken to in a while.
I like that.
Invite them for coffee.
It doesn't even have to be coffee.
Exactly.
Tea,
Hot chocolate,
fresh juice.
even just a walk in the park.
The drink isn't the important part.
The conversation is.
And if there's no one available,
Then take yourself.
I love that answer.
Spend an hour with yourself,
Without feeling guilty,
without rushing.
without thinking you always have to be productive.
Just breathe.
Look around.
Smile at someone.
Be kind to the barista.
Put your phone away for a little while.
And maybe,
You'll notice something beautiful that you've been missing.
I think that's a wonderful thought to end on.
Me too.
David, thank you so much for spending this time with us today.
Thank you for inviting me. This honestly felt less like recording a podcast and more like catching up with a good friend over coffee.
I was thinking exactly the same thing.
Hopefully, our listeners felt like they were sitting at the table with us.
I hope so too.
And if you're listening with a cup of coffee in your hands,
We hope it tasted just a little bit better after today's conversation.
take care of yourself.
And remember, life doesn't always need bigger moments. Sometimes it just needs a little more time, a good conversation, and a warm cup of coffee. Thanks for joining us today, Sunshine. We'll see you in the next episode. Until then, take care and keep smiling.